All right, welcome back. It is now day 9 of working on my house every day until I finish all of my home renovations. Yesterday I applied Rubio Monocoat to this giant walnut frame and this column wrap that I have back here. And today I finally get to do the final install of all this stuff and finally finish up that bar area that I've been working on the past couple days. So I'm going to go put this stuff in place, kind of dry fit it again. I'll be tacking it in just with some 16 gauge brad nails, and then I just have to do a few little trim pieces. Shouldn't take me that long. And then I think I'm also going to do the brick backsplash that I have planned for next. I think I might be able to fit that into today as well. We'll see how much time this takes me to do. But let's go ahead and head down to the basement. I'll carry this stuff down there and we'll get started down there. All right, so I've got the frame in place here. I'm just going to secure it with some 16 gauge brad nails, and that should be more than enough to hold it in place for a long time. Just going to make sure that I'm hitting studs, and I'm not sure yet. And this is going to obviously leave a mark in the wood, but I don't think they're going to stand out too much. If they do, I'll touch them up a little bit. I can put some wood filler in there, maybe dab it with some of the Rubio Monocoat, but I think they might blend in just fine, but I guess we'll see. All right, the frame is in, and I put all of these nail holes, so you can barely see them right there. I put more down this edge than I did that edge because these are actually going to be hidden by this piece that wraps around, and then I just did about every 16 inches or so along the top and along the bottom. And as you can see here, you really can't see them. I had a little bit of an issue with this one. It hit something and kind of curled up, so just had to kind of sink it in there. And then I'm hoping that the trim piece up there mostly covers it. If not, I'll have to fill it a little bit. But now it's time to get this piece, slide that into place, and then secure it the same way. And there we go. Real simple install. Really just a couple of nails, everything fit perfectly. I think it looks really good. I think that was the perfect stain color, especially with those chairs over there. I think it matches great with that. And then you go up to the brick. Very cool. And then I'm going to put brick on this side as well, in this little backsplash area. Also going to brick that. So I think that'll look really good. Now all I have to do is get up under here and finish off these trim pieces along the top, and then I'm putting another trim piece down at the end of the counter down here that's going to basically support the end of this bar top. These metal brackets work great. I mean, it's definitely sturdy, but at this far end, it just has a little bit of flex to it, just because, I mean, they're very, very sturdy. I'm sure you could probably stand on it, but I just want to put one more piece on this wall that just makes sure that, you know, if people are leaning on it, there's no flex at all. So I'm just going to do one piece of walnut that I already did and finished. Put that in, then I can do this top piece. And we'll be done. So I made up this piece here for this blocking piece that I want just as added support on this countertop under here. And if I was smart, before I drywalled this, I would have put a piece of blocking back behind the drywall so that I could just, you know, screw this right into a stud. So I should have put a piece of blocking back here, but I did not because I wasn't really thinking of that. So instead, I made this piece. I just drilled 2 holes in it, which I'm going to drill through into the drywall, and then I'm going to put in 2 anchors like these, which, you know, they're not crazy strong. I think they only hold like 50 pounds, but that's really, like I said, there's a lot of support here still. I just want to get rid of any flex that might happen, so I don't need it to hold a ton. I'm also thinking I'm going to put some construction adhesive on the back as well, just as some added benefit. I think that will really hold it in here really tight, and then screw it into these anchors. So could have saved all of this by putting a piece of blocking back here. So if you're ever doing something like this in the future, always think about blocking, even if it's just like towel bars, things like that. Always think about that before you put up drywall. If you have open framing or anything like that, blocking can help you a ton. Okay, so I'm working on this trim piece under here to cover that gap, and I had to go ahead and notch out this back corner so that this wire could come through, which is going to be for the LED lighting. And I kind of hit I don't know, not a snag, but like a dilemma where my plan was to take this LED track or channel. The LED sits in this channel right here, and I was just going to mount it, kind of like surface mount it like that, but I'm thinking that I could go ahead and actually cut a dado into the bottom of this trim piece here, and then this would sit flush up in there, which I think would be a little bit cleaner look, just a little bit more work, obviously. I mean, this doesn't look bad, but I think if it was recessed into this trim piece, it would look really clean. So I think I'm going to do that now, and then we'll go from there. And this is one of those things where, you know, you just start doing it and things just kind of pop up and you change and adapt to, you know, the new plan. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So just have to measure basically the depth of this and the width, and then cut a dado out into the middle of this trim piece. So all right, so I've got the dado stack in and set to the width of the LED channel here. And the idea is, now that this is out from underneath, this is the small piece that's going to go at the end of the longer piece, but for demonstration purposes, basically going to make it so I can recess this down into there with that dado, which I'm going to run through a test piece just on this board first. See if this fits good, and if it fits good, then I'll run through the rest of this. And I'm also going to set up a little feather board so that it just keeps it tight against the fence, and I can just apply downward pressure through the cut, and then that should be good. All right, so I've got the dado cut into this trim piece that goes underneath, and the LED track fits into it perfectly. I was gonna try and drill some countersunk holes and screw it down in to secure this channel in here, but I don't have enough depth. I don't have small enough screws to where they're not gonna poke through the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually glue it in with some construction adhesive, and that means I'm gonna need to let this sit probably overnight, at least a couple hours, which will be dark by then. So I'm gonna glue this. I won't be able to do the whole thing because I need to piece it together underneath. I need to do like a small short piece of this to do the full run. So I'll have to glue that one in once it's up underneath, but I'll at least get this one glued in for now. And then that'll allow me to install everything and get the LEDs all wired up. But I'm gonna have to basically stop at this point on this, but I do have some more time left in the day, so I'm gonna glue this and then go work on that faux brick backsplash and see if I can't get that done as well. I'm just using this board to get some nice even pressure just to hold this down. Just to, instead of having a clamp just, you know, at certain points, this will provide even pressure across the whole thing. So I'm switching gears to putting up this faux brick on this little backsplash area here. And it's a pretty cool product. I am going to have another video of this coming out where I did a whole wall that's behind me that you've probably seen in other videos. I will be getting that out hopefully soon. But mixing it in with in the middle of all these like daily videos is a little tough. But I'm going to switch to this project because I'm kind of stuck on the rest of that over there at the moment. So in order to, this isn't going to be all that difficult. I just need to basically trim these down so that it fits in this little space, and then I'll just run the rest of them down the wall over there, and then it'll just keep kind of going down like this. I just have to be able to cut around obviously my outlets, and then it's really just getting the layout right, which I'm going to work on right now. And once I get everything cut out, all it takes is some construction adhesive on the back, just a few lines of it, and then I just use an 18 gauge brad nailer to just hold it in place until the glue dries. And you can barely even see, if you put them in correctly, you can barely even tell they're there. So I'm gonna get started on that right now. So this piece, obviously I have to notch around this counter, so I'm just going to mark right here for where I need to notch this. Do this for how far down I have to notch. So for this piece where I have to notch it around the countertop, I'm actually going to use a coping saw because It needs to go up and then have like a 45-degree angle to match that countertop, which I'm sure I won't get perfect, but this is really the only way I can think to try and get that cut out of here. So I've got this tab cut out, even with the little angle. I got it kind of fine-tuned with a file here. Just using a file, I was able to get it perfect. But it appears that I need to take off a little bit up top. It's kind of pinching in a little bit up top here, so I'll just take it back to the saw and set my angle just right and take a little bit off this top corner, and then it should sit in there nice and flush. After much trial and error, I finally got this piece to fit absolutely perfectly, and really wanted to take my time on this one because you're gonna see it, you know, first thing. It's right on the edge, exposed. So got a really good cut, followed this contour really nicely, and now I can go ahead and well, I can't put these ones in. I have to now basically mark the locations for the outlets and then cut those out, and then I can put all of these three on that run down the wall like this. But there's outlets behind here, so I'll have to be able to mark those onto here, cut it out. And then there's one more down there that I'll have to cut out as well. It's behind that piece. And then I'll probably call it a day from there because this was a little bit ambitious to start at 5:30 at night. So I'm going to go ahead and get those marked off. I'm going to use basically my oscillating tool just to basically plunge cut into these and get those outlets cut out. I would say that was a perfect fit. Now I can install this one and the next one, and then I'll be able to measure and cut out that outlet down there, and then that'll be a wrap for the day. So installing these really is pretty simple. Like I said a few minutes ago, I'm just going to hit it with a little bit of construction adhesive. I grabbed this, it's PL Premium by Loctite, and it's their fast grab. It's supposed to just have a little bit more holding power, which was more important for obviously a big wall than it is right here. But it just helps grab, but any PL Premium or really any construction adhesive is gonna work just fine. So I'll just put a couple lines of this on and then come back with the 18 gauge nailer, brad nailer, and that's about it. So one more thing that I'm going to do is mark the stud locations, which I think I already have done with these pencil marks, but I'm not going to be able to see back here obviously, so I'm just going to stick blue tape up top so that I can at least try and hit a stud with my nails. That's a little too far. And this is just a good way to show where they are in reference, so that way the nail goes into a stud. Because if it just goes in a drywall, it's really not very strong. Now I just need to cut this last one to length first before I can get it in there to measure where to cut out the outlet. And this is really easy just by measuring from the wall to this lip, and then that measurement will just be from this lip to how far that length was. Alright, I am very happy with how much I got done today in the couple of hours I got to work. We got all this in finally, just need to finish up that LED trim piece at the top, and that will be all done, besides getting LEDs hooked up, which is, I am also going to be hooking up LEDs under this toe kick, and then running this brick down this side piece as well. So that will be tomorrow. So I should be able to get almost all of this finished up tomorrow. Maybe get the outlets in, and we'll see what else. But definitely want to get the brick done and that trim piece done under there. But overall, it was a good day. I'll see you tomorrow.